As they get those picks and bans ready for game 2, there's still plenty on the line here, totally.
And I'm looking at how the game 1 picks and ban situation happened. I think Boronic's Janus, I can't believe, like, with all those mages banned in the secondary phase,
Before
the Zeus, the Agni, like, there was no Janus ban at all.
It's crazy. And then Oboronic showing him why maybe you shouldn't let him have that god. I think Thoth was still on the table too, right? He had his pick.
Still open.
He had his pick between those two incredibly strong mages. And you saw earlier we were highlighting it that he didn't very early on for a long period of the game. He didn't have much damage. That's fine. You know, we don't really need that from Janus. He'll certainly get that on when they need it from him, right?
Just
as long as he's farming efficiently and hitting the one few they need.
Just the one ultimate at the late game to take out Panda mid's life was all that Astral really needed to close out that set.
He also blew up Matt Koiz on the Gold Fury. That was part of why that push from Flashpoint didn't really go successfully for them. He deleted that Artio very early on.
It's true. Flashpoint prioritizing this late game Artemis for Michael Checo. Not going to be the Jingwei yet again. Giving up Chernobog on purpose. They want to try to find the boxing exchanges. The passive of Artemis could definitely look to start poking out this Guardian.
Yeah, last time Artemis, I believe, was banned and Chernobog was taken first. This time, both the Hunters going to make it through, so we'll get to see that matchup this time as Chernobog coming in along with Janus yet again. Scary first 2 picks here for Astral.
This time, Astral and Oboronic not going to wait for secondary ban phase. They want their Janus utility style Portal Master right off the bat. It has such great implications of allowing your jungler to go into the backline to make those plays, and Layers likes to do that. We saw the way he was able to blink in, look for that triple pull to really turn that one team fight around the Gold Fury around.
Well, Artio coming out again. This perhaps could be going over to Matt Koiz one more time, but the Kukulkan is interesting. I think this one was on Delnyy last time, so we're going to take that away from him. And that means Astral going to turn to an early Kuzenbo here. I mean, that one probably not likely to get banned, I imagine.
That's a little interesting to see picked before the secondary ban phase. Probably going to go to Wolves. He likes to play a little bit unconventionally and playing his traditional Odin in the first game. Maybe he's feeling a little confident heading into the second game. And I'm a little surprised that there wasn't that much attention on top of Delnyy when Astral had the Janus, had the Chernobog. They could have definitely made those rotations happen, but still holding on to the mid to late game. They're confident in their own abilities to shot call for these objectives.
Going to go ahead and take away the Raw and the Circuit now totally with this second ban phase. Last time was a lot of attention turned towards mages. This time not so much. More towards junglers. The Unbots, the Ratatosker, and the Circuit all been removed, trying to limit some of these jungle options.
It's going to hurt Layers of Death a little bit, but Susanoo was banned away as well from Flashpoint. It does. Look at that. There's 5 jungle bans right off the bat. Could we be seeing a Kuzenbo jungle? You think Astral Authority would be that spicy?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't take the Achilles in that spot, though, for Astral. It's exactly where I was thinking they were going to go, but they went with the Khepri for the revive, which curiously, with the Achilles still open, I don't know. It was really weird that Astral took the Khepri there. I don't know.
Even with Khepri, Scarab's Blessing being negated by Fatal Strike, by the Hovering Death of Thanatos, by the Ao Kuang ultimate as well, you're still not too worried about it because of the Rising Dawn damage mitigation is important.
That's
the
true.
Root, the Abduct. You're looking at a lot of control from the Khepri. Now, I was just going to mention that the Nemesis was open, the Thor was open, and Thor is one of the staple picks from Layers of Death, but I think Nemesis is still a fine option.
And that's something I might be worried could actually be a problem for Astral is the control. I mean, I know that Khepri does have the Abduct. If he can find a long-range route, then those can be strong tools, but it's really just the route from range, right? I mean, they're relying on the slow from Layers, maybe a portal from Oboronic. It's not a ton.
Definitely not the most ideal options from control. Cyprexa can root from a distance. Inbound can root from a distance. Oboronic can look for a long-range portal. Honestly, if Layers goes for a blink at level 12, like he's going to engage and slow everybody down. Wolves can definitely do the same once he hits level 12 with a blink into his ultimate to knock everyone around.
That's right. It can be very disruptive for Wolves in those team fights. Once he rotates over, he'll certainly provide a lot more with the push. You know, with that watery grave, once he's able to push everyone out with his ultimate as well. So there's some tools available, and it's not as if Flashpoint are certainly teaming with control in their own right. Michael Checo's ultimate is pretty big. Matt Koiz obviously has the stun, the cripple field, the root, and Jumpahhh can land a stun of his own too, and the knockup from Delnyy. They've got a lot of tools too. So it's not as if they're at a huge deficit, but maybe a little bit towards Flashpoint.
I like the fact that Flashpoint experimenting around with this Kukulkan, being able to do a lot of burst damage, similar style to the Scylla, honestly, to bring in quite the punch. But still, even riskier, though, to go for this kind of early Soul Reaver start, because Panda mid does have increased mobility once you pop the second steroid ability, but you're not going to be able to have that Sentinel through the wall that the same way Scylla does.
No, he just kind of goes faster.
Pretty much.
That's what Kukulkan does. Can't, as you said, dash underneath the walls or Thunder Crash away like Raijins can, or walk through walls like oBoronic will be able to do quite freely on this Janus. But I mean, his ultimate, if he can find the setup for it, it's just such a big burst all at once to the team fight, and the knockback if you don't die from it as well. I mean, Kukulkan with those tornadoes in a narrow corridor, he certainly can bring plenty of tools of his own.
Smart play by Astral, recognizing that their purple buff was invaded and immediately Flashpoint going for their own purple, giving up not only these 3 melee minions, but going to transition into all 3 archers. Michael Checo does hit level 2, but Astral Authority are very safe under their tier 2 or tier 1 tower.
That's good. I think we saw a little bit of this in game 1 and didn't have much time to talk about it because there's so much dual lane action. But in response to the buff invade, they just sort of they sort of froze the wave and let some creeps die and negated some experience from going over. So Astral Authority recognizing that opportunity.
There's a lot of archers also, more than 3, sitting at about 4 right now, that Astral Authority could have used to their advantage if they wanted to play aggressively. Have those archers start chunking away at Matt Koiz. Even though it's between Season 4 and 5, those minion damage decreased a little bit. That's still more than your traditional 3 archer path, and without defenses or realistically a lot of health at level 2, it would have been a decent idea to see how much damage Matt Koiz and Checo would have took.
And the dual lane is volatile enough, Totally, to where that could be enough. You know what I mean? Like, if you can find a wave or 2 of pressure and, start to get a little bit ahead, have some opportunities where you're forcing them off their back timers the way that they want to complete their itemization the correct way, then really you can start to develop a nice lead in the dual lane. So maybe an opportunity they could have had.
Also being able to utilize the Khepri passive a little bit more with that, the shield constantly ticking and regenning as well. Like, if you're not going to take the damage, the shield is basically useless anyway, so why not use it a little bit further to your advantage instead of playing this little weird backpedal game where you're trying to get the minions right outside of your tower. Going for another purple buff invade, Flashpoint feeling frisky.
They are indeed going to come over and try and grab this one. Matt Koiz and Michael Checo now have the root stun from Inbound. Rotation coming over for oBoronic as well to put out a little bit more damage. Could potentially be trouble now for Inbound as he tries to push further forward. Matt Koiz has to flee, so is Michael Checo. The threshold slow, though, forces the Aegis. Portal doesn't land, but as soon as that Adduct is back, actually the ultimate comes over. It's like you found a cockroach in your room. They squashed him. Inbound falls for first blood. Flashpoint off a great rotation from Panda mid.
oBoronic got there first, but Panda mid making his presence felt first. Great rotation for that first blood, and that's going to allow him to finish that soul. Oh, Book of Thoth actually makes sense, simply because you're trying to get more mana for the 5% extra damage with the Kukulkan. Wouldn't be surprised to see more mana options after this.
No, not at all. The Kukulkan passive definitely encourages you to build some of these items with a little bit more mana in them. Kind of used to have some old synergy back with Book of the Dead when that was an item that was being bought a whole bunch, right? So might even potentially see Panda mid go that way, though it's fallen out of favor, so he's got some options. Kukulkan kind of builds his own way, it feels like.
You can do so many different things, honestly. Even Polynomicon used to be so popular on him to a certain extent, with the mana gain, being able to squeeze in the basic attack after you hit somebody with a Squall to slow them, which makes it easier to land that basic attack. Not a bad idea to go for that route.
No, you're right. That first ability, Polyproc combo, man,
hurts.
That swings. So certainly some opportunities for Panda mid to cause some problems later on with this Kukulkan, as his safety and the no boots, none of that has seemed to be a problem as he slowly floated his way all the way over to Duo, got an early kill, and just kind of flapping those wings, moving around, no problem.
And squeezing a wave in between that as well, while the rest of Astral Authority were 3-way sharing that dual lane, puts Panda mid in a situation where he should be hitting level 7, level 9 first, if all things kind of still go on the same path between himself and oBoronic. And that's the difference maker between some of these mids, being able to see who gets that second point in their ultimate, who gets level 12 for that second relic that makes a turning point.
Astral Authority, though, were the ones that were the aggressors in Duel, and they end up paying for it. I wonder if they'll go back to that again. They had the wave so pushed up to their tower that I really thought they might have been trying to set up for like a rotation from Layers to come over and punish Flashpoint being further forward. Instead, it was oBoronic who came over. You kind of saw that plan come to fruition. It just didn't quite work. If they want to look for it again, they'll have the opportunity. Layers, though, walking over a ward. They know where he's at.
Trying to make something happen in the mid lane potentially, but no, more concentrated on clearing the wave and then backing out. oBoronic has been trying to make a play happen in the dual lane, but he's always looking over there, seeing like, okay, what's going on between Cyprexa and Michael Checo? Are they boxing? I can definitely out-rotate Panda mid, not just because he doesn't have boots, but just because I'm a Janus. Like, I have all these portals, but the way he played the first game, he never really made those rotations. He just kind of threw out the ultimate to scare the rest of Flashpoint.
Looking for maybe a low health target, trying to back or something like that. We saw him look for those shots a couple times, but yet again, they've got the Chernobog Janus combination. They can immediately turn a fight in their favor numbers-wise with those rotational abilities. We saw Cyprexa do a great job of backing in team fights, ulting back in, slowing everyone, and suddenly killing targets, or even during a team fight, just using it to reposition to the back line and chase down low health targets. So clearly looking comfortable in the Chernobog.
With that global pressure, it allows Astral Authority to kind of make these plays, these risky ideas of potentially invading or at least defending against Flashpoint's invade, which is why they prioritize it so heavily in both games 1 and 2. Whereas Flashpoint, they're trying to go off for a more traditional composition by going for Artemis, for Michael Checo first pick, trying to get that late game burst damage potential. So far, they're doing a good job in terms of, you know, not realistically feeding a lot in the early game. They're actually the ones with the first blood from Panda mid, believe it or not. And that's going to put Checo in a good spot to be able to transition to the mid game by rushing these Devo gloves, by finishing off this Hunter's Blessing evolution. If you leave him alone and unchecked, he can solo the Gold Fury if you're left sleeping.
Absolutely, especially with that steroid. He's able to burst through it so quickly, is Michael Checo. But to sort of play devil's advocate for Flashpoint, I mean, Panda mid found a ton of good ults last game on individual plays, and they still struggled, as now he can potentially catch out Cyprexa on the left-hand side. Jumpahh's here. Jumpahh finds him. Cyprexa falls very early on. Inbound a little bit low as well as he gets knocked up. Not going to be able to find anything more. I think that was the ultimate from Panda mid that sent him flying. oBoronic going to catch the tornadoes, but they're all back to their tier 2 tower. The
one disadvantage of rushing Devo Gloves is you have no mobility, so a speed buff Achilles with Warrior Tabi completed, you're not going to outrun that. The only way that Cyprexa literally survives there, he uses his ultimate, and he goes all the way in the solo lane.
Panda mid grabbing that one, so Jumpahhh can't reset, but that'd basically be the only way for Cyprexa to be able to find his way out of that one. Is Michael Checo use that ultimate in that last fight too. That's going to be on cooldown for a little while. Jumpahhh just used the Fatal Strike at the back end. Didn't find it as Panda mid kind of snuck that one away from him. They were able to go look for the buff invades on the back end of that too. On top of the 2 kills they got, Flashpoint now up almost 2,000 gold.
Astral Authority needs to play a little more cautiously and just kind of wait things out. If Cyprexa gets in trouble again, use the ultimate and just kind of hang in the air and wait. Allow your teammates to make that rotation happen. Maybe Inbowned will be in position to throw a Scarab's Blessing once you land and reset the fight a little bit, as Flashpoint now with a 3-kill advantage could still look for these early Gold Furies, but only probably once Michael Checo gets his boots completed.
And look at this. Flashpoint really are prioritizing cooldowns. It look like they want to be free to kind of throw their stuff out often. Jumpahhh going with the Jotuns for his second item. Panda mid going with the Shoes of Focus, which after the change, still going to be giving him decent power anyway, just maybe not that pen. So they'll both be in position to be able to throw their abilities off a little more freely.
It's also all about the mana from Shoes of Focus. Just synergize even further for Kukulkan. And, you know, throwing out more tornadoes or more squalls in the jungle, never a bad thing if you're on Flashpoint. It's going to be a little problematic for Astral Authority. And with all this burst damage, you don't need that much pen to get this Gold Fury.
It's going to be some trouble for Delnyy as the dive is on. Layers is able to rotate over along with more wolves and punish the Kukulkan over in solo lane. Looks like he'd already used that ultimate, so they were able to lock him down pretty easily. Didn't have the rage transformation either.
Good gank coming from LayersOD. Not making his presence felt in the first game of the solo lane, but certainly making it happen in game 2.
Inbound's in some trouble, has to scare his blessing on himself. Koiz goes ahead and procs it so he can't get further away, and gets the stun, but there's no more follow-up. Flashpoint, the rest of them have moved on to Oboronic. Jumpahhh finds him in the jungle for another kill, and they're positioning like they want to come get gold.
Flashpoint recognized that their soul lane got taken advantage of with the rotation from Layers, so what do? Instantly making a 4-on-3 on the left side of the map with a quick pick onto Oboronic. They don't have to worry about through space and time stealing that one away.
Checo is in trouble. Layers of Death makes the rotation in at the right time, but the stun from Koiz forces out the bead. Fatal Strike to close the distance, but Jumpahhh can't keep up the chase. Cyprexa forces them all back. Flashpoint grab the gold Fury, but they can't get any more kills off the back end. In fact, they lose Checo.
A good way to extend the lead is to go for these objectives. If Wolves is getting assistance from Layers on that right side of the map, the left side is completely open for Flashpoint to do what they will with. And I like the fact that they didn't like force the Gold Fury right away in that gank situation, that they looked for a pick first, eliminated the Janus so they don't have to worry about any sort of steal potential to contest with that Kukulkan ultimate.
And I want to see them play around these objectives a little bit better here, Chulainn. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Through space and time is good, but I mean, Kukulkan, it might just be the best security you can ask for from a mage. I mean, it's so much damage all at once, and they should be able to confirm these. So Flashpoint are in a good spot, especially with Checo on this Artemis to help burn.
I agree with you. Like the fact that Flashpoint could still, even with Oboronic on the playing field, force a Gold Fury if they really want to, but they're playing it very methodically.
Yes.
They want to make sure that there's 0% chance that Astral is stealing this one away. Flashpoint, despite already clenching themselves to land, want to come into land feeling good about themselves, that they came in with an undefeated record, that despite losing 1 game out of 3 to Fable, 1 game out of 3 to Elevate, and now 1 game out of 3 to Astral Authority, that they're still the top dog in North America.
That's right. They want to force Flashpoint to come in looking up at them at this land, right? Instead of looking at them across the aisle like as equals if they're able to grab a set victory here. So this is that chance for Flashpoint to sort of maintain their top dog status heading into the land. Already, though, Astral Authority came in and gave them a nice quick hit to the jaw. How can Flashpoint respond here in Game 2? They've done a great job playing around Panda mid. Jumpahh's being able to track down some loose kills. I love this Wing Blade to respond to some of these slows. As we highlighted, there's not a ton of control from Astral. This will get them from Cyprexa, Oboronic, and Layers.
And the blink from Layers definitely looking to play aggressive, so getting any sort of defensive slows, Wing Blade from Jumpahhh could definitely look to see more Wing Blades from other characters. If Panda mid got that for himself, wouldn't be a bad idea, but he doesn't realistically need it with the way his second ability works, immuning himself away from certain slows, and feeling so confident with the start that he has, being a part of a majority of the kills from his teammates, that he's going into Warlock staff, trying to stack even further outside of the Book of Thoth.
Going to be an absurd amount of mana available to him, and it's not even about the mana pool itself. You know, it's so frustrating. It's really just about his passive between that and the Book of Thoth. I mean, he's just going to have so much extra power that's going to be adding to the build.
I'm calling his next 3 items now. You want to hear them?
Yes.
Okay.
They all have mana, I assume.
So Soul Reaver.
That sounds right.
Soul Gem.
Okay.
Doesn't necessarily have mana, I don't think, but doesn't necessarily
Still
need
good.
mana. And then E-Staff.
Where's he going for? Pen? Spear?
Doesn't need it.
Nose? Pen? I mean, he's doing...
Okay, maybe he does need a little bit of pen, actually. Late game, yeah, he's going to need some pen. All right, yeah, Spirit Mag is probably next item, actually.
Okay, yeah, Spirit Mag is, yeah, probably going to work for him. Jumpahhh coming in looking for more damage, but I would not be surprised if we see that Soul Reaver Soul Gem coming out to combo in as they steal the red buff away. Looks like they want to try and give this one over to Checo. Is going to grab it. Astral, though, still grouped around. Layers making his way into. They don't want to give this red buff up for free, but already looks like Flashpoint are out.
They got it for free. Delnyy goes in, not going to commit to any sort of knock-up engage, holding that for a rainy day, as he got the Mystical Mail and the Onculae combination, really thinking about staying on the backline. Oboronic was such an issue in the later stages. Also, Onculae good about canceling the Abduct from Inbound. If there was no other magical damage sources, you're going to be instantly free.
That is good. Could be a good combination for Delnyy to limit yet again some of the control that Astral doesn't have a ton of. That's what this Wing Blade can do. That's what the Achilles can work for them as well. Sometimes Magai's Cloak can be strong, even in situations where there's not a ton of control, because the one big one that does land, you're able to immune out. So
that's true.
There's a ton of options available for Flashpoint, I feel like, and they've itemized very well so far.
Like if you're against a Fenrir or a Naja, those are your like go-tos. Like, uh-oh, that ultimate is scary enough to displace or buy enough time for teammates to make those plays off of that you just want to completely ignore. But against both of these compositions, you don't necessarily care too much about Bad Guy's Cloak for either one of them. You're more worried about the burst damage potential between Michael Checo and Panda on the left and just oBoronic's damage on the right.
And we saw what Cyprexa was able to do when Chernobog gets up to a good start. He's a little bit behind. Curiously, it's actually Cyprexa who's itemizing into the early crit, and Michael Checo kind of steering away from that with the Iqval into more attack speed, perhaps the Executioner. Wolves does have the Thorns. He's going to have the Reflect on the Kuzenbo, so Michael Checo perhaps worried about that solo lane matchup and wants to go the attack speed route instead.
Now that we were discussing the Kuzenbo in the picks and bans before secondary ban phase, this makes a little more sense as to why they prioritized it.
In response to that Art first pick.
In response to the first pick, Artemis. They wanted to make sure that late game Michael Checo would not be a factor to worry about.
Well, he's definitely going to be limited. Iqval and Executioner Pen still strong, but Cyprexa in that execute threshold. Aegis lets him get away. Jumpahhh in some trouble now. He's going to be able to run right on out of there. Layers through space and time crystal from oBoronic, doesn't find him. Cyprexa low in the back end. He's still going to survive. Jumpahhh comes back in.
He was zoned away. He was zoned away. He couldn't have anywhere to go. Michael Checo in a lot of trouble. He gets slowed. The tornado being done from Panda mid. His ultimate was already used, but it didn't really hit anyone.
Aegis keeps Panda mid alive on the left-hand side. Cyprexa trying to chase him down with this Chernobog. Delnyy still very far forward. Matt Koiz is there with him as well, but it's just him and Wolves kind of battling it out. It ends up being a 2-for-2 overall. oBoronic and Inbound go down for Jumpahhh and Michael Checo. Jungle and Hunter for mid and support. Astral Authority, though, kind of evening back up a little bit after that response from Flashpoint early.
Neither team opting to go for the Gold Fury yet, despite having a small window. Normally, if an enemy team has a Hunter, that's where you really got to start worrying about any sort of sneaky Gold Fury attempts. But the warning situation is pretty good on the left side to cover it for both teams.
Delnyy trying to chase down Layers. Fortunately, more Wolves is here in support. So Delnyy not going to be able to keep up that chase, and Layers should be able to very peacefully back after stripping the blue buff.
That cooldown reduction. You pop your reflect damage, and you're taking all that damage from all those multiple sources. You throw out another Nene. The dashes are ripping through, and Wolves has a good advantage over Delny's Onculate because you just throw out a Nene Kappa anyway, and you're even then you force out that 40-second cooldown or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're still pushing Delnyy with a Kuzenbo. You're still gonna abduct him with the Khepri.
It feels like his dash is up like every 5 or 6 seconds.
It's pretty obnoxious.
It's gross. I would not want to be dealing with it if I were Delnyy. It looks like a little bit longer than that, maybe closer to 8 or 9. So we'll see where it ends up working. Or rather, no, it actually is pretty low for him with that Sumo Slam. So Gold Fury being looked at now by Flashpoint. Astral coming in to defend, but it's already being burned, Holy. They got to get in here quick.
It's already less than half health. Oh, the ultimate a little bit too soon, but Flashpoint still securing that one through space and time being used by Astral. Was not in time to actually steal that one away, but allows Astral to at least position themselves aggressively.
Delnyy could end up being the sacrificial lamb. Tail into the Root lands. Root comes out from Cyprexa. Delnyy still alive. They might have given up on it too soon. They're just going to go towards Fire Giant instead.
I thought Rising Dawn was for sure going to kill them, but it's Inbound that falls to Jumpahhh. The Scarab's Blessing not even used. Neither was the Fatal Strike. Wolves in a little bit of a sticky situation as he gets rooted. He gets stunned. He gets double stunned. Damage is starting to come through, and there goes the execute that misses.
Layers comes in on the back end to harass Michael Checo, and oBoronic is able to clean up as a result. Wolves has those tornadoes ticking and can't live through it. The knockup from Delnyy lands. Layers in trouble. Jumpahhh road, so it's over and finds some kills. 3 for 1. It looks like at this point, Flashpoint still have 4 members alive, but perhaps the most important, Michael Checo, is not here to help with these objectives.
Without Michael Checo, it becomes trickier, but without worrying about Wolves, Layers, or even Cyprexa once Jumpahhh gets that kill. Not even worried about the second tower shot. The rest of his team benefiting with a Pyromancer.
And Jumpahhh able to make it out of there, uses Blink over the wall into that safety of the blue buff camp. I like the idea from Cyprexa. He kind of walks back in to like his own explosion so that the Root has to land onto Jumpahh. If Jumpahh wants the kill, he takes more tower shots. Almost sets up for oBoronic to come in and find the kill, but just not enough.
Needed about 1 more tower shot to at least get the revenge kill immediately after. Flashpoint's still doing a good job with some of these objectives.
They are.
And establishing themselves a relatively comfortable gold lead, not throwing it away the same way they did in game number 1 around that 3rd Gold Fury attempt.
And you talk about these objectives they've been securing. That's with Panda mid being a little early on a couple ultimates now for the secure. Now, if it's just, you can still kind of somewhat get away with it. If it's, you quickly lower it below what the opponent's expecting, you can still kind of throw their timing off, even if it's not the secure. But you would prefer it be the secure, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, that through space and time was maybe a 1.5 to 2 seconds away from stealing that. So if oBoronic kind of telepathically guessed when the ultimate from Panda mid was coming out. There was definitely a small window of steal potential.
Well, Tier 1 tower in mid lane does fall. Flashpoint grouping around this Tier 1 in duo. Michael Checo should be able to grab this as well. No need to defend for Astral Authority if they even could have. With Gold Fear already down, with those Tier 1s down as well, there's not really much more for Flashpoint to come grab. They're just going to back off this, spin their gold. Executioner now finished for Michael Checo. Mid-Guardian Mail for Matt Koiz. They've got some big power spike items finished, so they can keep up this aggression.
I like the fact that Checo is avoiding crit. Against Wolves, he's not going to be having a safe time. In fact, he might even need to go for the chin size very soon, although there's not too much health from Wolves. It's only the Pestilence that's boosting that up currently. And with the Height of Nemesis line finish, you can clearly tell Wolves is thinking about Michael Checo for the sweet late game.
He really is trying to return all that damage, going to reflect that basic attack. And again, not going to add any more health to the pool either. So really keeps Kin Size's value somewhat mitigated and prevents Michael Checo from really comfortable going into the crit build. Wolves really, I feel like, doing a good job trying to slow down Michael Checo, but who's going to slow down Panda mid on this Kukulkan? I mean, he's 4-0-3, second in player damage, having a comfortable game. Inbound, meeting up with those tornadoes, just refreshing the tick damage there by going back through it.
Taking about 50% of his health. Inbound, not in position to do anything as he has to go back right away. That's about 15 to 25 seconds without your support, where Flashpoint can go for the Fire Giant bait if they really want to.
They absolutely could, and try and force Astral Authority into a bad spot. Panda mid has elected to go with the Obsidian Shard, the percent pen, as opposed to the Spear Magus as we were expecting. So this kind of feels like that all-at-once kick-down-the-door type strat from him.
Getting a little bit of a buff here at 45% pen at 200 power. It's a good idea through space and time being used, but Wolves actually knocks Panda mid away from the trajectory.
Still ends up using the Aegis, it looked like, on the back end of that. Wolves now on the front side, isolated, drops the ultimate. Michael Checo gets the last auto. Wolves, we'll see you later. Checo now free to run through the team fight without having to worry about the reflect. Cyprexa, next target. They don't get the execute off. They reset it. Now Cyprexa can run away, but where is he running to except into more damage? He's inside the wall for now. Dashes back out, drops down the ability, can't make it back to the portal, and still on a roller coaster of emotions ends up dying.
He was backpedaling instead of walking forward towards the portal that oBoronic set up perfectly for the escape. And these are the fights that Flashpoint want to take around the jungle side, really benefiting from Panda mid's tornadoes.
And they really were never in much danger there either. Maybe in danger of dropping a kill, but that's nothing. Flashpoint really seemed comfortable in that one. Astral Authority a little bit overcommit, in particular Wolves, and they're able to collapse on them on the back end.
That's just not that much magical defense. He's so focused onto Michael Checo's late game that he kind of casually forgot that Panda mid can pack the damage, sitting at level 20 with a Soul Reaver now completed. Gross. 5 items deep. This is not going to be looking pretty for the turtle.
Not at all. 4-0-5, level 20 now for this Kukulkan. At this point, more Wolves got to pass some player damage, but Fire Giant looked at half HP. Inbound is coming from Michael Checo. Beads force out through space and time. Already committed, but Inbound trapped. Matt Koiz finds that kill. Wolves is going to distract the backline. That's both the carries. Layers comes back in, drops the ultimate. 1,094 knocks him up, but doesn't keep him alive.
Trying to make it revenge is Jumpahhh right around the corner, as is Delnyy. Portal is not existent for oBoronic. It's a 2-for-2. Still going for more as Wolves dash away safely. Cyprexa and oBoronic, though, they're very healthy, and oBoronic has a lot of mobility, but they're not going to chase this down. They need to reset if they want to get back into this game and get some very important neutral objectives.
Yeah, this is the key difference. Astral Authority still have their carries. They still have oBoronic and Cyprexa, whereas Panda mid and Michael Checo are the ones that fell. Wolves did a great job kind of laser focusing in on them on the back end with that ultimate that he was able to come in and disrupt with. So Flashpoint, this really throws the brakes on for them. And Astral, if they want, they have an opportunity.
The problem was the way Michael Checo was tanking the Fire Giant. First of all, you should never be taking the Fire Giant as a hunter in the first place. He avoided the first knockup, couldn't avoid the second one, so he had to use the Aegis to prevent that damage and all the follow-up damage, which actually kind of baited out Inbound to start things off, which put it into a good perspective for Flashpoint. But then on the backhand side, Wolves came in, Layers was aggressive against the enemy hunter, and Michael Checo couldn't survive without his Aegis.
Yeah, in particular, really was able to hunt down Panda mid, who is going to be without BH another 70 seconds, even once he comes back up. Aegis should be available for him, but it's Michael Checo who's getting this Gold Fury started. Astral Authority didn't really have an opportunity to capitalize at all, and it's going to be Flashpoint who come grab it.
I'm really surprised that Astral Authority, despite having a 2-for-2, with your hunter still up, you have so much DPS to go for these neutral objectives. Not only did they ignore Pyromancer originally, but they left the Gold Fury wide open.
Now, a big ultimate is going to come out from Panda mid. It's going to hit Inbound in. Wolves bring
I think he stole it. I think Flashpoint just stole that Pyromancer.
Would not be surprised, not with that big ultimate coming through. Looks like the tick up was in favor of Flashpoint, so certainly it could have gone their way. They're now positioning around the FG. They don't have the ultimate from Panda mid as the secure, but they're still bursting it. Their tornadoes are hitting. The strikes are coming out from Michael Checo as well. Inbound goes in too far forward. Scarab's blessing on himself, but lands right back into Matt Koiz.
The tornado right on top of Inbound. It's already down through space and time. Eliminates Michael Checo.
More Wolves in trouble in the back end. Matt Koiz can't find him. The portal lets him escape, finds the kill, and sets up an escape path. It's going to be support for Hunter so far, but Flashpoint don't seem deterred. They're the one holding position even without their Hunter. Layers has to retreat. Zephyr not going to land. Panda mid can't take down the Nemesis.
Not able to really make it happen outside of finding the kill onto Inbound that based himself out perfectly for the rest of his team to clean up. Panda mid used that ultimate very early, even before the teamfight happened, to secure the steal on the Pyromancer. Without that ultimate, Astral Authority felt very confident about forcing the issue.
They are going to come down now and grab the tier 1 tower in mid lane. Cyprexa going to help out a great deal with that. And now they're going to fall back. They have an opportunity if they want to try and grab another objective, but it's only a few seconds before Michael Checo's back and he'll rejoin the fray. Astral Authority have kind of been even in these last few fights, but they haven't quite closed it out in a big way yet. And we did confirm for sure just now that that Pyromancer buff was there for Flashpoint as well.
Well, we're getting to the late game, Finch, and these respawn timers are getting later and later. So yes, even though Astral Authority are not getting anything now, if they can still keep the same pace that they've been going for, they can still look for some of these objective secures. As Delnyy kind of in a boxing match with Wolves.
Drops the tornado down, but the reflect damage coming out from Wolves to return the favor. Michael Checo considering looking at FG, but they're only pulling it for a moment. Delnyy going to be the front line. Jumpahhh has Inbound on the left-hand side. They're going to come back to it now. Michael Checo has it started. Matt Koiz taking a few shots from it as well. Delnyy jumps in aggressively into 3 members. Wolves going to come to stop them, but Delnyy forces oBoronic to lead through space and time. Brings Delnyy low, but not enough for the kill. More Wolves going to disrupt, but 1,000 onto Inbound comes out from the ultimate for Panda mid.
And Wolves also took a lot of damage. He's forced to disengage as Delnyy backs for Flashpoint. It's 2 low members from Astral, 1 low on Flashpoint, leaving a 4-on-3 advantage for the rest of FP.
Inbound in trouble, has the Scarab's blessing himself, execute off the mark again, but doesn't matter. Rezzes right back into their tornado and ends up falling. Delnyy has rejoined the fray and ready to cause more problems. Already Astral Authority in a 4v5.
Inbound is the sacrificial lamb yet again, but this time the rest of Flashpoint disengage fast enough that Astral can't get anything off of it. Wolves also took so much damage that he had to back, actually teleporting back into the action, which is a great look considering that Flashpoint are looking at this Fire Giant.
It's double wing blades now, though, for Matt Koiz and for Jumpahhh. Going to get harder and harder for these slows to be impactful in the team fight for Astral Authority if Jumpahhh chases Layers away. Fire Giant hasn't quite been started up just yet, so Jumpahhh kind of going on a merry goose chase. Now they'll come back towards it with Wolves still nearby.
Doing a lot of burn damage. This time I think Flashpoint are going to commit. The ultimate from Panda mid, though, isn't up to secure it.
Panda mid falls back out. oBoronic drops the ultimate. Now comes out the open. It looks like it wasn't enough.
Stolen!
Astral get the Fire Giant. Was that ultimate from Panda mid off the mark? Either way, Layers now has a double kill. More wolves. Gonna use the portals to reposition Delnyy. Not the target. They want to find that Koiz.
And Astral Authority, they're winning this team fight without Cyprexa and without Inbowned. Split pushing all the way to the left while killing Jumpahhh. The multitasking from Astral Authority so real right now.
This game has been turned entirely on its head. Jumpahhh has to use Fatal Strike defensively. Delnyy now trapped, getting pushed up against the wall. Astral Authority gonna take it. Another kill for Layers of Death. 7, 2, and 3 on the Nemesis Tier 2 tower and right. Could easily be the target, but they're not even gonna let Jumpahhh back. He does make it out just barely.
Barely able to back the rest of Astral Authority with Fire Giant. And a 5-on-2 advantage can easily secure this first Phoenix of the game.
And it's getting shredded. Cyprexa burning through it quickly. Jumpahhh comes in, finds the stun onto oBoronic, but that's all he get. More wolves disrupts, and Cyprexa is able to bring the Phoenix down on the left-hand side. Astral Authority, all of a sudden, all at once, are now the ones aggressing into the base of Flashpoint. They take the Phoenix and they take the fight.
You can't snooze on Astral Authority. You got to get up on that first alarm because they will take advantage and you're going to sleep right through it. As Astral Authority steal away the Fire Giant, steal away
but this can be
that
bad.
Phoenix.
They're sticking around too long. Panda mid comes in with a nice ultimate. Inbound ends up falling. More wolves on the right-hand side's low as well as oBoronic takes down Michael Checo. Panda mid's still alive, but oBoronic chases him down. Cyprexa takes out Jumpahhh in response, but it's Astral who are winning the fight front to back. Matt Koiz, the only one left out here on an island, nowhere for the lone bear to go. Ends up getting taken down as well. oBoronic showing up in a big way. They can just go right back down and in. They have a path.
It's only Delnyy up. Left side Phoenix is exposed. 2 towers and 2 Phoenixes remain, so it's not the easiest Titans to go for.
2-0?
That's going to be the first loss for Flashpoint if Astral Authority can secure it right here.
And it happened so quickly, Totally. That fight around the Fire Giant just was not clean enough. Panda mid, whatever happened, he wasn't there with the ultimate, and now it's Astral Authority barreling into the Titan room. Only Delnyy, the lone Kukulkan, to stand up against 4 members. They're burning the Fire Giant very quickly now, down to half HP. Astral Authority with a chance to take the first set. Layers takes down Delnyy. Michael Checo is too little too late. Astral 2-0.
The first loss for Flashpoint. Astral Authority, you gotta be feeling great about that one. You secure your spot to the LAN. You secure the first loss for Flashpoint. Just a team that everyone from North America struggled against, and now so much confidence heading into the LAN.
Maybe you can be first place and undefeated. That's probably the only way you can go into LAN feeling better than the way Astral are feeling right now, right? After they come in qualifying and getting the 2-0 and dominating. What a strong performance from
Flashpoint already was qualified in, but Astral Authority making it definitely a good spot for them being the second team because it was between them and also Armada.
That's right. Well, it is them that's going to make it through. Let's go and take a look at those standings totally. That way we can see exactly how both these squads end up shaking out. Astral drop down to 4-2. Flashpoint are going to be 4-2 here as well. Armada are going to fall, are not going to be able to quite make it. Flashpoint with this victory are able to come out strong. That means Astral actually going to go in as our #1 here totally. Astral have earned it.
They definitely did. Armada needed Astral to lose that game 2-0 to also have a tiebreaker situation. It would have been really wild if that happened, but it would have been some extra spicy console action. But congratulations to Astral. Congratulations to Flashpoint. We'll see you at the Summerland.
What an impressive performance here from Astral that we just saw in that set, and it's hard not to think about that team as the favorite for North America, at least after that one performance and how dominant that they looked. But to be honest, it happened all at once. I mean, Flashpoint got to clean that up around the Fire Giant just a little bit. I mean, that really was the catalyst. 3 minutes later, the game was over.
You can get all the Gold Furies you want, all the Pyromancer steals with the Kukulkan ultimate that you want, but if you're not securing the Fire Giant at the end of the day, you're not securing the Phoenixes, you're not securing the Titan or the game.
Well, I know everybody's trying to make their way to the summer final LAN right now, but the big-time tournament, the big event of the year, that's going to be happening totally in November 16th through 18th. HRX at DreamHack, Console World Championship, PC World Championship, Paladins, and Paladins Console. A ton of action, all for one ticket.
I'm excited. It's going to be a little bit closer than our traditional January start, so mark the date on the calendar.
You know, I'm a little surprised that you all are still watching me and Totally talk. Open up the other tab, hi-rezexpo.com is what you're going to type in, just like that, like what Tolly is pantomiming for you, and purchase your tickets. Remember, again, Tolly's promised that if you show him a picture of you buying the ticket, that he'll fly to your house and give you a high five personally. So that's a bunch of plane tickets. That's a lot. I don't know why.
Only if you're paying for it.
Oh no, I would never.
If you pay for it, I'll high five whoever.
you would take all those flights if I paid
I'll
for
take
it?
one. No, one flight.
One flight.
One
Okay.
flight.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
high five.
He'll pick one person that he likes in particular and fly to your house on his dime and pay for it and high
Your
five
dime.
you.
All the gems.
Yeah, that's it. All I get are gems. I don't get that many. That is going to do it here for us, though. On the console side, we do still have some SPL actions going to be coming your way. Remember, we're not broadcasting on Wednesday, so some of our SPL games got moved around just a little bit, so we're going to be bringing you a ton of action. Make sure you stay through Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday to see all the action. We'll be right back with the SPL a little bit later.